This is Frankie Abbruzzino with the Scoop News. You see up on the screen, this is a picture I created of Mimi. And it's basically saying, Mayor John Hollick, liar, liar, pants on fire. And even though he says he never reads or listens to my stuff, he apparently knows everything I put on here somehow. And he made a comment to me, which basically came out saying he was not a fan of that Mimi. As I'm sure he wasn't of him grabbing the boob of the pirate girl on Venice Avenue. But I digress. Let's go back to what I wanted to talk about, and that's the fire fee. I've been talking about this fire fee since last November, and it was funny. Several people have written me actually about this with concerns, and there have been a ton of emails on the city server with concerns because they received notices about this increase in the assessment. And nobody's heard me talk about it, which is amazing. Back in November, what happened is, before November, Hollick was pushing to increase the half a penny on the property values, and one part of the reasons were to take care of the fire people, to do Obamacare, and the third factor I can't recall. And then he sent out an email while pushing this agenda. He put out another email saying, hey, look, we need to look at doing a fire tax. And I shared that email once again the other day. And I said, basically was how duplicable it is. I can't even say the word. He's sitting there pushing to increase our property tax while behind the scenes saying, oh, yeah, we need to increase make a fire tax assessment fee, whatever you want to call it, tax fee. And nobody believed me. And now they're starting to see it's coming to fruition. I mean, I even presented the email, and still people were like, oh, John's like, oh, they're lying. All right, so basically people are getting this notice, and they're realizing, well, okay, we got this public meeting on the 21st. They're starting to write in, say, we're not happy. You have people that are looking at it, calling it basically ridiculous that they're going from 600 and, 650 up to over $1,500 in taxes. Now the city council and Hollick and everyone's saying, Hollick's like, oh, I'm on vacation. I don't know what numbers you're looking at. He knows what notice was sent out. Look at the email server. He knows exactly what was sent out. Some others are saying, well, we're going to decrease that property tax somewhat that we just increased. And we're committed to doing that if this passes. But others are like, well, that's great, but that's not going to cover the difference here. If you're raising me 130% on my fee with this fee, I guarantee you taking away that minor amount in the property tax is not going to help me. And then they said, well, we're going to evaluate it every year. Yeah, right. How many times has government come up and said that and not done it? Others have said, look, we're going to move out of the city. We can't take it. You just had the road tax increase, the road bond, which is surprisingly to a lot of people, they must not have been listening to me, basically is just taking care of a 3-block area on the island. The public service one for the new police station, 2 waste management garbage utility fees, one last year, one this year increase. The property values have gone up. That's an increase. The property tax increase that they just sent through, and now this one. And taxpayers are saying enough is enough. I might have to move out of the city. I can't afford to live here with all these increases, especially with this major assessment one. Others are saying, look, you're going to face us when you come up for re-election, and you're all going to be kicked out of office. But how many times have they heard this? Guys, they've been doing this for years. You guys, residents say this over and over. Why are we electing them? And you still elect them. I was putting all this stuff. I was sending emails. I was putting factual stuff on. People still didn't believe me. They believed John when he said, oh, he's not being honest. He's lying, without presenting any facts. I presented facts, and people still didn't believe it. And that's what we're living in. The bottom line here is, folks, you got to get you got to look at the stuff I put out, because when I communicate things, I put out facts. I put out emails. I put out documentation. It's not just me saying this stuff. All right. And then John will always counter, or a lot of these councilmen saying it's not true. Just like the water thing yesterday, when they came out and they said, that's not true. EWG doesn't even do the test. Okay, well, EWG said they don't do it, but they grab these numbers from the EPA. Are you saying the EPA is wrong? And they wouldn't address that. Then they said, well, we go by a different standard. So you go by a different standard that's not as rigorous and is more lax. And you got to listen to what they're saying, how they're communicating it, folks. because they sugarcoat everything. And you just can't take what they say at face value and believe it. Okay, question everything, and even with me, question it. That's why I put the documentations out. I expect you guys to question it. I expect you to go look at the documentations and make an intelligent decision. And I got to tell you, this fire fee is not intelligent. And what he's doing is, and what they haven't told you is, they've been battling with this, the pensions and everything, the fire trucks and stuff, for years, years. And Hollick's done nothing. Daniel, sorry, you've done nothing. Who else has been? McKeon, he's done nothing. Gates, they've all been up there and they've done nothing but ignored the situation. They've ignored the issues with the crumbling infrastructure at the fire stations. The fact that they needed trucks, they finally got one. They still need two more. The pension's been set out there forever and they've done nothing. Nothing. And now the residents are going to pay for it. That's all I got to say on this issue. Hopefully people start listening. This has been Frankie Abbruzzino with The Scoop News.